Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjala-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shyuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutedevi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are continuing reading from Bhagavad-gītā as it is. From His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, the founder-ācārya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, we are reading chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, and it's about the spiritual knowledge of the soul, the God, and their relationships, and this is both purifying and liberating. So, last time we were speaking something about the benefit of understanding Krishna's birth and activities. So basically, those who understand Krishna's birth activities, also his spiritual body, that his body is spiritual, he's not material, and he can appear in any form as he likes. So this understanding brings one, liberation. And we spoke also something about the people who having difficulties with spiritual realization or taking to the spiritual practice, either because of their material attachments, which are very strong, or because they are afraid that since they are now suffering in the material body, so they think in the spiritual body it will be the same, or they encountered so many spiritual paths that they are so much confused and frustrated that they just want to end up in void. So basically these three categories were there, and for them the solution is just to take the guidance of the spiritual master and gradually get out of these difficulties. We spoke also something about the stages of spiritual progress, from preliminary faith, then association with devotees, then starting to practice the service, clearing the unwanted desires, getting stability, getting taste, getting attached to the spiritual life, then getting also spiritual emotions, and ultimately the love of God. So this was basically the last time we did. So now we'll continue. Ślokas 11. Today we will do 11 to 12. But this whole section is Krishna is the object of everyone's realization and creator of varṇāśrama. So let us see it. Chapter 4. So the shloka is one of my favorite shlokas, I can say. Okay. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushyah partha sarvashaha. Ye all who yata as mam unto me prapadyante surrender tan them tatha so eva certanim bhajami reward. Aham I mama my vartma pat anuvartante follow manushyaha all men partha o son of Pritha sarvashaha in all respects. Translation: as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Purport: everyone is searching for Krishna in the different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahma-Jyoti effulgence. Sorry. And as the all-pervading Supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the Transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the Transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as the Supreme Master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally, according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. The pure devotees both here and in the Transcendental abode associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them, who are not firmly situated even in the impersonal existence, return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties as the Yageshvara. And those who are yogis seeking mystic powers awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone. And all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10. Akamak sarvakamo va mokshakama udaratihi tivrena bhakti-yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is saying here that depending how living entities are surrendering to him, to what kind of processes from different shastras, so in this way he is also reciprocating with them and rewarding them the results they desire. So everyone is basically, the thing is there, if they are following any bona fide process, any authorized process for Krishna, or from Krishna, sorry. So in this way, there are different kinds of realizations of people. Some may be devotees, some may be materialists, some may be impersonalists. So they are following their paths, but Krishna is saying that all the paths are coming ultimately to him. Because also this is the purpose of the Vedas, as we will see later in the 15th chapter, 15th verse, that all the basically ultimate goal of studying the Vedas or understanding the Vedas is come to Krishna consciousness. Is also Srila Prabhupada is concluding this purport here. So, and there are different ways how to get there. One is for devotees. So Krishna, for his devotees, he is reciprocating as they desire, either as a friend or a son or a lover or in various ways, or in Supreme Master. So according to their constitution in the spiritual world, he is also reciprocating with them. And even for the impersonalists who try to avoid his personal form, still he is giving them some result. Srila Prabhupada calls it here spiritual suicide. So they just want to desire into nothing, or not nothing, but into some effulgence. So even this can be fulfilled by Krishna, but the difficulty is there that since they will be bored sooner or later in this effulgence, so ultimately they will come back again to the material world because they don't have any other experience. And yeah, because they are also, the Prabhupada says here, they are not firmly situated even in the impersonal existence, because it's very difficult also to be firmly situated there. Ultimately, we have to do something. Spirit soul is always active, but in this effulgence, there is no activity. There is just being, the eternality. So this is not very much ultimately suitable for the spirit soul, who is always trying to be active in some way. And also is mentioned here that also those who desire some fruitive results, they are performing some religious, how to say, sacrifices, or this way, which are authorized by the Vedas. So in this way also they are getting the fruits of their actions, and they go to heavenly planets or results like this. So even this is being fulfilled by Krishna to those persons. And also with this, this is also very nice verse and very practical for us, because it says that even if we don't have desire, or we want some fruits, or I mean some fruitive results, or we are after liberation, so anyway we should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for devotees, even if we have some other desires, still we should approach Krishna with this desire instead of some demigods or other people, because advantage is also that the desire will be purified. By approaching Krishna, we get real purification, but by approaching other persons, we just get more entangled into this desire, and the desire will not be purified, because it's like pouring more fuel into the fire. So there's some comment. Yes, very true. How one soul can feel pleasure without pleasing Supreme. So loving service is benediction. Yeah. Basically, there is because there are these three types of realization, and in the impersonal realization, Brahman realization, there is only eternity. Then with Paramatma, there is eternity and knowledge, but only with the personal realization of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is also bliss or pleasure, as you mentioned. So yes, this is only by loving service of the Lord. Pleasure cannot be in any other realization apart from loving service. Yes. So as I said, there's fulfilling of any our desires is recommended to go to Krishna. We shouldn't go to anyone else. Okay, continue with the verse 12, 14. Kaṅśantah karmanam siddhim yajanta iva devataha kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Kaṅśantah, desiring karmanam, of fruitive activities, siddhim, perfection, yajante, they worship by sacrifices. Iha, in the material world, devataha, the demigods, kshipram, very quickly, he certainly, manushe, in human society, loke, within this world, siddhi, success, bhavati, comes, karmaja, from fruitive work. Translation: Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Purport: there is a great misconception about the gods or demigods of this material world, and men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different parts and parcels. God is one, and the parts and parcels are many. The Vedas say, Nityo Nityanam, God is one, Ishvara Paramah Kṛṣṇa. The Supreme God is one, Krishna, and the demigods are delegated with powers to manage this material world. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. They cannot be equal to the Supreme God, Narayana, Vishnu, or Krishna. Anyone thinks that God and the demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or Pashandi. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the Lord is worshipped by demigods such as Brahma and Shiva, Shiva Virinchinutam. Yet, curiously enough, there are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men under the misunderstanding of anthropomorphism or zoomorphism. Iha Devataha denotes a powerful man or demigod of this material world. But Narayana, Vishnu, or Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, does not belong to this world. He is above or transcendental to material creation. Even Shripara Shankaracharya, the leader of the impersonalists, maintains that Narayana or Kṛṣṇa is beyond this material creation. However, foolish people, Hritagyana, worship the demigods because they want immediate results. They get the results, but do not know that the results are so obtained are temporary and are meant for less intelligent persons. The intelligent person in Krishna consciousness the intelligent person is in Krishna consciousness, and he has no need to worship the paltry demigods for some immediate temporary benefit. The demigods of this material world, as well as their worshippers, will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. The boons of the demigods are material and temporary. Both the material worlds and their inhabitants, including the demigods and their worshippers, are bubbles in the cosmic ocean. In this world, however, human society is made after temporary things, such as the material opulence of possessing land, family, and enjoyable paraphernalia. To achieve such temporary things, people worship the demigods or powerful men in human society. If a man gets some ministership in the government by worshipping a political leader, he considers that he has achieved a great boon. All of them are therefore kowtowing to the so-called leaders or big guns in order to achieve temporary boons. And they indeed achieve such things. Such foolish men are not interested in Krishna consciousness for the permanent solution to the hardships of material existence. They are all after sense enjoyment, and to get a little facility for sense enjoyment, they are attracted to worshipping empowered living entities known as demigods. This verse indicates that people are rarely interested in Krishna consciousness. They are mostly interested in material enjoyment, and therefore they worship some powerful living entity. So Krishna, from the last verse in the purport, it was clear that we should approach for anything Krishna, but now Krishna is saying those who have less intelligence, so to get quick results, they are worshipping various demigods or even powerful men in human society. So we know, for example, Lord Shiva is very easily pleased, also very easily displeased. So those who worship Lord Shiva may get the results very quickly. But the difficulty is that Lord Shiva doesn't distinguish whether this will be good for the spiritual progress or not. He's just giving because he's obliged to give, because they fulfilled some conditions. And that's the same case is with any demigod or any powerful living entity, even in the human society. nobody cares from these persons in these positions whether we will do spiritual progress or not, if we are approaching them in this way for the material purpose, not for spiritual purpose. Because Lord Shiva is also Vaishnava, so if we approach him as a Vaishnava, he will also reciprocate in different way. So depends also on our consciousness, what we get, as was previous verse was saying, that what we are, what is our consciousness, what we are desiring, then that's the result what we get. And also what is mentioned here, to distinguish very clearly that the demigods are not equal to the Supreme Lord Krishna. And even Srila Prabhupada is mentioned here, who thinks that demigods are on the same level. We can see also in India, it's called Panchapasana. There are 5 so-called demigods, and one of them is Vishnu. So they are putting Vishnu on the same way, same level like Ganesh or other demigods who are there. So this is basically called atheism. So we should clearly distinguish that any Vishnu Tattva, which is the name for these various incarnations or avatars of Krishna, like Narayana, Vishnu, or even Krishna himself, so they are different category than demigods. Demigods are ordinary living entities within material world, apart from Lord Shiva, because he's a little bit special entity, is kind of between material and spiritual world. But otherwise, living entities, I mean demigods, are usually ordinary living entities. So basically on the same level like ourselves, but they are given much higher responsibilities and higher opulences also. So we should very clearly distinguish between these personalities, how we approach them also, because it can be offensive to the Supreme Lord if we put them on the same level. And it is also mentioned Sripada Shankaracharya. So when he was basically finishing his teachings, because Shankaracharya brought Mayavada theory, Mayavada philosophy, that which is impersonal and speaking that basically he was putting Lord Krishna on the material level, that he's also can be covered with his inferior energy, Maya. But at the before he basically disappeared or left this world, he was saying Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, means one should worship the Govinda or Supreme Lord. And his followers didn't understand, or still they cannot understand what is meant by this. They're just ignoring this statement, but this is very clear what he was saying, what is the most important. And he was recognizing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, despite that he brought the Mayavada philosophy, because it was basically service for Lord Krishna at the time to bring society again to the Vedic wisdom. It was a step forward. It was not final step. So this is not understood by his followers, and they are still stuck on this level of impersonalism. Okay. Yeah, another thing is that even if one approaches demigods or some human beings who are powerful on this planet, the results they are getting are only temporary. They are not permanent, because they are still material results. And this material world, everything in this material world is just temporary, so it's not eternal. So also this is another sign of less intelligence. Then in the long term, we get something very temporary. And compared to this, if we approach Krishna, we get only spiritual benefits, which are eternal. So one who is intelligent, should approach Krishna instead, and basically doing this or investing the same energy, the same effort, he will get eternal results instead of this temporary. results from the material personalities. And this is also the sign of mode of passion, that we want to get the results immediately. Because mode of goodness means there is first some effort, and then the results come. And this effort is basically we are doing our duties, and then we are getting some results as a side effect of these duties. So we are even not focused on these results. But with the mode of passion, there is focus on the results, and these results should be, or are expected to come as soon as possible. So that's also the difference of, we see that these different modes of nature are acting in this case. Okay, so that's it for today. So we spoke something about how Krishna is reciprocating, and how also demigods are reciprocating. Okay, so Śrīmad Bhagavad-gīta ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Thank you, Hare Krishna.